Welcome back to another episode of the Jacksonville Buzz. I'm Steve Strum. This morning I have Gray Mabry, the CEO and co-founder of iVentureSolutions. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
You know, we had an opportunity to talk a little bit offset. People have heard iVenture, you kind of, very good brand name. What is an iVenture? And what solutions do you do?
Sure. Very simply put, we help people solve tech challenges in their businesses.
Okay.
We make it easy for them to get access to experts who can help keep them safe and help keep them productive.
Now, when you talk about IT challenges and protective services, that is a whole host of different things. We can't operate life nowadays without some level of technology. And you hear these horror stories, right? Of people hacking into a printer and then they get access to behind the firewall. And then, even myself by trade, I serve, in the financial services industry. Didn't do anything wrong, didn't have anything wrong, just happened to be going to a website, and then all of a sudden I get all these things that if I don't call a certain number that the computer's going to explode and then the world's going to happen.
Sure.
Those are things that happen all the time.
Absolutely.
It wasn't a real virus, it wasn't even a real thing, it was just somebody that said something, it pops up on a window and it says if you don't call this number, everything's going to fall apart. What am I going to do if I'm an uneducated person? I'm going to call the number, and then they're going to extort money out of me.
Absolutely.
So what is it that you do for that small, medium, and large business owner that is helping them understand the very real threats in a world that perhaps the construction guy just doesn't understand?
Sure. There's a couple ways we look at it. So I'll go first to the sort of smart guys in the back room. I think first in organization, you have to have access to experts that are doing the things behind the scenes to minimize the things that are coming in your door. So I think that would be, think security professionals, like all of these things that you never see every day, but there's probably more of those pop-ups that you would get, and more of those emails that you would get, and more of those threats if things weren't happening behind the scenes. That's the first thing that needs to happen.
Gotcha.
I think the second thing that needs to happen, and what we work with our clients a lot on, is building that awareness to when something doesn't seem right, it probably isn't right. And the easiest way I describe it to people is we all receive think U.S. mail in our mailbox, and we know what junk mail is. We don't have to think that hard about it. We're like letter, that's real, bill, junk. And what we do is we educate users to have that same sense when it's something electronic, to be like, why would I be being asked to call Microsoft to solve a problem that I didn't know that I had? So it's just that's junk.
Right.
So a big part is that education and developing that sixth sense that something in my digital world is asking me to do something or pulling me into something that's going to harm me. And
your example of junk mail is great because you're correct. You're going through the mail and junk. Well, the real slick companies now make the mail look like real mail, so at least you're going to open it. And the guys here, these digital ninjas that are out there doing bad things for people, man, I'll tell you, it's amazing. I have to take, continuing education, and I have an IT team. Mm-hmm. It is amazing to listen to some of the things that you hear about how very real that these bad actors can look. They can clone a website that looks like a Facebook or your banking app or whatever, and you don't even think about it, and you log right in, and next thing you know, somebody's got you held hostage.
Sure.
So it's very interesting that you use that correlation because that's a very real thing, because if it looks like a duck and it talks like a duck, sometimes you got to ask yourself, why do I even have a duck?
Right, absolutely.
So,
why am I being asked to do this in the
right,
first place?
why is there a duck? We're not anywhere
Sure.
near water. So it's amazing on how you do that. So how does that work for that small, medium? How do you serve that small, medium, large business owner? Do you take staff and put them on site? Do they pay you to have a giant
Sure.
staff of really intelligent people? How's that work?
So we have a giant staff of really intelligent people. So we have
Present company included.
Sure, sure. What we do, so the first thing to serve that business is I go back to, we build expert techs. So we bring people that are generally new to IT, and we train them in a very specific way to protect small, medium business. We train them in a very specific way to provide great customer service to small, medium business. So building that expertise enables us to put things behind the scenes to stop the majority of bad things from happening. Then on the customer-facing side, it's our customers having access to those people to just very easily pick up the phone. When they sense something doesn't feel right in security world, or maybe I'm being asked to do this, it's a very easy phone call. Our customers pick up the phone, call, they get a live answer from a human being who's a tech expert who can jump right on that. And the reason we do that is if you don't give that immediate response to that expert, what does the person do? They don't want to wait. Maybe they just click on it. Maybe they just it must be legit. I'll go through with it. So, I
And next thing you know, their business is held hostage.
right. And
Now, as we take it away, one of the things that you had mentioned as we were doing a little bit of show prep is the pathway of your candidate of the person is not, so I went to undergrad, I went to grad school,
Sure.
I went and got all the licensure so Steve Strum can be the stockbroker guy. I went that pathway. In your world, that pathway is valid, but it's not the only pathway. So as we talk about that, people watching this video going, oh, wait, I'm really good. Maybe I should be a person that actually works at iVentures.
Sure.
What's the pathway difference that you're seeing in trends with your employment group?
So I would just say at a high level, the technology world, especially around security, is evolving faster than a traditional school can output the talent. And so what we've developed is a process to take people in that have that baseline technology education and put them in a situation where they can gain real life experience very quickly. They can gain access to the technologies and the methods that we use to keep people safe. And we can bring them up in our company.
That's awesome. Because again, a classic, I mean, my undergrad degree is actually electronic commerce. I can tell, I can tell your techs how old I am by telling them that I speak COBOL, Visual Basic.NET, and A++.
Right.
Mid-40s for anybody that don't understand what that means. But that's also like Sanskrit, right, in today's universe. And when I was in college, by the time you finished a 4-year degree in IT, what you learned in year 1 is no longer there because it just doesn't exist. I can only imagine that's got to be even tighter nowadays.
I feel like every few months there's a new thing that you have to have your arms around to continue to be efficient.
And those books aren't even printed yet.
No, it's not. It's very much a mixing with experiential learning and really getting your hands on it with experts next to you.
That is, it is fascinating. I could talk to you for an hour about this stuff. What we're going to do is we're going to take your links and we're going to hang them on our website for thedailynewsnetwork.com because then that way people can connect. Thanks so much for coming and taking a little bit of time to talk through what in your mind is such a simple thing. I understand it to an extent, but I can understand the complexity. And then your viewer out here looking at that is going, oh my gosh, I never even thought about that.
Sure.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for
really
having me.
appreciate that. Guys, thanks for joining us on the Jacksonville Buzz. If you like us, share us, and remember, live with gratitude.